I am an Eastman Guitar Fan for life. Let me explain. Hi, my name is Rich Kettner. Welcome to Story Night Guitars. In this video, I just want to talk about why I'm such a fan of Eastman guitars, and I will play them now for the rest of my life, however long that might be. I have been on a pursuit for like the ultimate guitar for my particular style of guitar playing. I've been playing now for 55 years, and I've gone through all kinds of guitars and all sorts of brands. And I discovered Eastman guitars about 10, maybe 12 years ago. My first Eastman I got was an Eastman ER371, sort of like a Gibson ES175. Not exactly comparable, kind of a similar body type, but like that's the body they were going for. The one I got was back with one pickup, but then they later come out with a 2 pickup model. And the guitar cost me, I think it was $750. And it was a great guitar. They're handmade guitars, and I was just won over. And just real quickly, I was in the Marine Corps as a kid, in the Marine band, and I remember I got money together to buy a jazz guitar. I kind of got the bug where jazz was what I wanted to pursue. And I wanted a Gibson ES175 because that's what Joe Pass played. That's what Jim Hall played. Or even in rock music, the great Steve Howe from the band Yes, that's what he played. And I was still of the mindset then, that, oh, if I have the equipment, I can do that. Where I now realize, for me anyway, it's in the touch, not so much the instrument. But I was going to buy this ES175, and what ended up happening was, it was too much money. And they said, oh, you might want to check this out. And it was a George Benson Ibanez. And it was a great guitar. Now, not really comparable to a 175, but less money than that. Incredible guitar, incredible craftsmanship, and just so good. So my point was, at that point, that was like 79, I think, 78, 79. I realized, wow, it doesn't have to have Fender or Gibson on the headstock. When I came up in the late 60s, early 70s, that was really good for American guitars. Either you'd buy a Fender Tele or Strat, or Gibson, pretty much a Les Paul. I hadn't discovered 335s yet, wasn't aware of the ES175. So my point being, in the late 70s, I kind of got over the thing of the name on the headstock. I was like, hey, if it plays well, I'm good. So fast forward to the 12 or 15 years ago, whatever it was, when I got this Eastman, I read a lot of reviews and heard a lot of really great things about these guitars. And I got the ER371, sight unseen. I hadn't got to play one, loved it. And since then, I've been on this journey with Eastman. So, just to show you the guitars I've got. Okay, this guitar is an Eastman John Pisano 380. Now, when I bought this, Eastman had 3 models of this. This is the 380. I think it was a 680 and an 880. Similar appointments, I guess they had higher end pickups. I'm not even sure, I've never played those. And I think now there's also, maybe it's a 480 that has just a single pickup version. So I had an L5, beautiful guitar. Long story, I won't go into it. It just wasn't as comfortable to play. I got rid of it, sold a few other things, and I decided to get this guitar. Now this guitar plays beautifully, I think. Two pickups. A couple of things about it I really like. Ebony fingerboard, ebony pickguard, ebony bridge, ebony on the tailpiece. Very comfortable, pretty thin. It's not a big, thick guitar. Beautiful finish. It has this pretty binding. Very light. It plays great. What I mostly play is solo guitar stuff. And for that, this works beautifully. I'm not using it in a big band. It might feedback, but I usually play pretty soft, so that has not been an issue. As far as single note stuff, this is just the neck. Here's the 2 pickups. by itself. I have played a couple of gigs where in a restaurant it sounded a little too muddy on the neck, and I did what I just did now. Both pickups, blend them, sounds great. So, love this guitar. It's a bit of a love-hate thing, to be fully honest. It's bright, right? Even on the neck, with the tone rolled back some. Kind of bright. I tried it with flats. Then I thought it was too dull. So then I had a friend that had this exact same guitar, and he used D'Addario half wound, which I didn't know existed. Tried that, and that was kind of the happy medium. Probably need some new strings now, but I've had this guitar about 4 years, and now I'm like, okay, it's a keeper. So I still use this quite a bit, but I have a new guitar that I got about 6 months ago that is kind of almost becoming my number one. This is, let me read the name for you here, because I can never remember. It's a T64. See if it says it all inside here, because it's got a very long name. This is a T64/V/T/GB. So the T might stand for tailpiece rather than a Bigsby. I've seen some guys that have this guitar with a Bigsby. My journey with this guitar, I had it at an Eastman T59V. Well, sorry, I guess let me go back farther than that. I mentioned the first one, the AR371. Sold that and bought this one that I just played for you. And I didn't have a semi. First one I got was an Eastman T386, kind of like a 335. Had the center block, pretty guitar. I had it for maybe a year, and I chose to sell that. I had some gigs or I was subbing. I used to be a teacher. Got some more extra money together, and I bought the T59V, which has like the antique varnish, like a rub-on varnish rather than a finish. And it had Seymour Duncan antiquity pickups. It sounded amazing. Really incredible guitar. Had that for about 5 years, maybe even 7 years. And then I realized that the T386 was a really decent guitar. It just needed a new set of pickups. The pickups were kind of lifeless, where the T59V was amazing. If you were a rock player or a blues player or like I used to play in praise and worship bands with that, sounded incredible. But for me, I kind of lean mostly toward jazz. Neck pickup was pretty nice, but didn't really do it for me. The real deal breaker for me was heavy. It was real heavy with that center block. And I finally decided, when I realized Eastman had other semis that were fully hollow, I thought, that's what I really want. And I read a bunch, and I discovered this guitar, the T64. Now, they also have one, I don't remember the models, but they're like 185, 184, 185, 186, that are also fully hollow. They were kind of out of my price range. I found this guitar used at a place called Guitars and Jazz in Summit, New Jersey. I bought the AR371 there. I think I bought the T59V there as well. So this was used, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to sell the T59 as much as I love it. Life's kind of short. Get the guitar I really want. So I got this and sold the other one, and I have no regrets. This guitar is very light, fully hollow, and I love the sound of it. Pickups are Lawler dog ears. I've never had a guitar with Lawlers before. And I have, over here, if you can see it, I have a Godin 5th Avenue Kingpin that has a P90 on it, but I was kind of new to that whole thing. So this guitar, I just think it sounds great. That's just a neck pickup. Again, this is very versatile. And what I found out, as I said, I used to use the Pisano guitar to do my jazz gigs or solo stuff. And I did a gig now, maybe 2 months ago, where I just bought this guitar, and it sounded great. I love how light it is, and it's also very comfortable. The finish, I don't care about. So full disclosure though, that I found out after the fact with the guitar, one is P90s, the height is not adjustable. So where I was picking, my picking hand was hitting the pickup in the neck. So I've adjusted by scooting my hand back. I've removed the pick guard as well, so my hand can rest here and play, and that worked great for me. Also, you don't have really good access to the higher frets. So here's the 15th fret you can get to, but even 17, my hand is hitting this right here. So if you like playing in higher frets, this guitar sadly is not for you. But I love the way it sounds. Here's both pickups. And even, if you play with some dirt, now I'm playing through a Hendrickson Blue, pretty small little amp. So I have no dirt, this is just clean. But that's both pickups. Here's just the bridge. Now if you were to play in a rock band or with volume with the drummer, this being fully hollow, you might get some feedback. But I played once with the amp with the drive, and what I thought was cool about it, I could play a couple notes and lean toward the amp, and it would just start to sing, and it was controllable. But now, I've not played with the drummer with this, so that might be an issue. Playing at louder volume might be a problem. But I love this guitar. Almost prefer this to that. I think this gets a warmer, a little darker, more mellow sound. I love the Pisano. This also, the neck's a little more narrow, I think, than the Pisano. So if I'm doing fingerstyle stuff, sometimes my hand gets a little smushed in on this one. But they're both great guitars. I got one more for you. This is my acoustic. Still Eastman. This is an AC-OM1. I bought this about 7 years ago. Again, when I was teaching, I think I subbed for a friend a few days and took the money to go buy this guitar. I used to have an Ovation. I have a long history with Ovation, but I bought one of those really thin shallow bowl ones. It sounded amazing through an amp. It sounded really crappy playing acoustically. I wanted a guitar I could just sit on the front porch or in the backyard and just strum and play. So I went to this guitar shop in Southern California. I think I had like $650, maybe $700. And when I went in, they had this guitar, brand new. They had a Breedlove used, and they had a Taylor in the same market. Played all of them. I really wanted to get the Breedlove. My wife and I used to summer up in Oregon, and Breedlove is made in Bend, Oregon. And I just really liked the way the guitars looked, and I really wanted to like that guitar. And it wasn't set up or whatever, it just didn't do it for me. The Taylor, didn't care for it at all. And I picked this up, and I thought it sounded great. Pickup, I had a K&K installed again at the same shop, so it doesn't have any controls. Some guitars have little volume knobs inside. I don't have that, so when I play it through an amp, I'll play through my pedal board. So I've got a volume pedal that just goes through here. Point is, this is not very expensive. I don't even know if Eastman still makes these. I've looked online. I don't see this model anymore, but I love it. It's very comfortable, and I'm not really an acoustic player. So I'm not going to, I'm not really an acoustic player, so I'm not going to put $1,500 to an acoustic, because I don't even know that I would know the difference. But I've had a lot of people compliment me on this guitar. I said, wow, is it a Martin, or what kind of Martin is that? And I said, no, it's an Eastman. And I guess now there's even less expensive ones than this, but I love this guitar. Didn't come with a hard case, came with a gig bag, but I'm not doing a bunch of traveling with it, so the gig bag is fine. It's worked just fine. So in conclusion, the point of this is just, I think Eastman guitars are great. I'm very pleased. Now, I don't know, the last one I bought, I said was 6 months ago, but it's older than that. It's at least a year old, I think. So if you were to buy Eastman now, I know Trump is talking about tariffs and stuff for China. I don't know how that's going to affect prices. It seems like the price and value of these guitars are going up. I think the one over here, the T64, I've seen them for $2,000 or just above that. My Pisano, they don't seem to go up very much. I'm not sure if they're still made. I've seen some of them very reasonable. I think I paid $1,400 for it, maybe $1,500, and but they don't sell for that. Used ones go for less than that. And as I said, the ACOM1, I don't even see those anymore. But all that to say, if you're looking for a nice electric guitar or acoustic guitar even, I would say check out Eastman, for yourself, rather than what you read online. Some people are like, oh, Chinese stuff is crap. Just like when I was a kid, Japanese guitar were crap until the Japanese figured it out, and now they make amazing guitars, right? I've been as case in point. So if you've never played one, I'd encourage you, try to find a shop that has them. That's been an issue for me. I now live in southern Arizona, only like 15 miles from the Mexican border. I've never been to a store where I've been able to play an Eastman guitar. I just have bought all these. I'm sorry, except for the acoustic. That one I did play in a store. The Pisano I bought just off reviews and things I've heard and reviews online. T64, same thing. Things I've read, people that I have confidence in and what they said about it, and I have never been disappointed with any of those guitars. So if you're looking for a guitar, check Eastman out. As always, enjoy the journey. God bless.